Alan Wilson.
Thank you, Senator. Appreciate it. First off, it's great to be with all of you here today. I appreciate you taking the time to come out and hear what I have to say about my friend Jon Huntsman. Before I talk about Governor Huntsman, I want to talk to you a little bit about Jon Corson. A little asterisk in your biography, a little footnote is that I understand you never picked a loser in presidential races. And you were actually one of Reagan's original delegates.
You're going to rub my head going. I'm not going to let you down. I'm not going to let you down.
So Senator Corson may be our little rabbit's foot. But first, let me talk to you about Jon Huntsman. Before I tell you about why I decided to support him, I want to tell you a little bit of background on Governor Huntsman. First, he was twice elected governor of Utah, the second time getting over 70% of the vote. While governor of Utah, he passed the largest tax cut in Utah's history. He made the tax code simpler and flatter. He balanced the budget and tripled the state's rainy day fund. While he was governor, Utah was rated #1 in job growth and named best state for business. A recent National Review analysis found that among presidential candidates, Jon Huntsman has the best record for economic development. And that is something that we are all very concerned about. Another area that I was concerned about is, you know, where does he stand on his values? Where's his core? When he was governor of Utah, he stood strong on social issues. He defended the state's rights against federal intrusion. He stood up for the rights of gun owners and signed 3 strong pro-life bills. This tells me a lot about Governor Huntsman. He's willing to stand up and fight for what he believes in is right. And most importantly, I want to talk to you about the main reason that I decided to support Governor Huntsman. When I was traveling the state last year, I campaigned from one corner of the state to the other. And I met with Republicans, Democrats, Independents. I met with the young. I met with the old. I met with people who live in urban areas, rural areas. I met people from across the economic spectrum, the religious spectrum. And everyone had a diverse view on how they saw the world and what they wanted in a candidate. I didn't always fit the mold for what they wanted. But one undeniable fact, the one thing that I discovered as I campaigned for Attorney General, everybody wanted to be safe. Everybody wanted to feel free to raise a family, to go to school, to earn a living, without fear of being a victim of a crime, without the fear of having someone take something from them. And that is the reason I'm coming out for Jon Huntsman today. In his career, other than being a 2-time elected governor, he's been ambassador twice to Singapore and most recently to China. And he also was a deputy U.S. trade representative. He was an aide in the Reagan administration, having traveled with Ronald Reagan to China. When you look at China today, China is a preeminent world power. They are rising right now as we speak. They're becoming a preeminent military power and a preeminent economic power. The relationship with China as we go into this new century and as we go forward, it is vitally important that we have a president that understands that a country like China with nuclear capability and who, by the way, owns more debt, U.S. debt, than any other country in the world. A country with just a little over 1/6 of the world's population. It is important that we have someone who recognizes the importance and how tricky that relationship can be. Anybody here that's got children, you know, you look at your children and you look to the future, and I was actually bouncing my daughter and my son on my knee last night, and I was looking at them and I was thinking what I was going to say to all of you today, and I looked at my children and I talked a moment ago about how all citizens want to feel safe, and I looked at my kids and I thought about that. I thought about their future, and in a world where China is going to be preeminent, it's important that I give my children a world that they can be safe and they can feel safe in, just like all those folks that I talked about on my campaign. And so I'm supporting Governor Huntsman today. And by the way, let me be the first to say, there are a lot of wonderful people running for president, some of whom I consider good friends that would make a great president. But when you look across the board, you look at all the facts that make a person a good candidate for president and ultimately a great president, they've got to be able to create jobs. They've got to be able to lower regulations, allow capital to ingress and egress across state lines. They've got to be able to stand up to federal intrusion into state sovereignty. They've got to be able to protect the 10th Amendment. They've got to understand how to be an executive. Someone who's run a state understands that. They've got to understand the importance of the international relationships we have with countries such as China. They've got to be able to understand all of these. And I talk about, and actually I do have 3 kids. One of them is of the furry variety. I've got 2 human children and 1 canine. Governor Huntsman and his wife Mary Kay have 7 children, 2 of whom were adopted. One I believe from India and the other from China. And of course they have their own 5. And when you look at your kids, you want a safe tomorrow. And I know that he understands that. I know as well as I do. And anyone who has a child, he understands as well as they do also. So I'm supporting Governor Huntsman because we need a fiscal conservative, someone with strong core conservative values who can take that conservative message to the folks in the general election, to your independent voters and your moderate, you're formerly known as Reagan Democrats. He's got to be able to sell a conservative message to them. It does no good to be a conservative if you can't sell a conservative message in a general election. I believe Governor Huntsman has the ability to do that. And to all the others that are running for president right now, they're wonderful people. And they have a great message, a strong message, a message that I support. We've got to be able to sell that message to the American people in 8 months and then ultimately a little over a year from now. So I'm here today to say that I'm supporting a strong conservative candidate, Governor Jon Huntsman. And Governor, I'm honored to have you here in South Carolina. We were speaking last night. We've actually been speaking over the last couple of months. And he's going to be in South Carolina a lot. And he hasn't been here a lot yet. He's been here a couple of times, but you're about to get to know this guy, and I believe that when the people of South Carolina get to know the governor the way I do, that they will feel the same way. Anyway, Governor, I'm glad to have you in my home state of South Carolina. Look forward to working with you. I think folks are going to like you.